A very good evening and welcome to this Friday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Mariam Gunavijaya. We start off with a look at your headlines.
President calls for emergency meeting with the Election Commission. The Commission says an election can only be delayed via constitutional or judicial action. Samagi Jana Balawegaya Alliance to provide bonds for the local government election from Monday. Hangwella murder suspect killed in police fire. Social media activist Sepal Amarasinghe remanded. Religious events mark Durutupoya.
Will elections be held before the 10th of March 2023? 64 days more.
On to your lead story tonight, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe summoned the members of the National Election Commission for an emergency meeting at the President's office.
A senior official at the National Elections Commission told Newsfirst that the meeting took place based on an invitation extended by the President. It was reported that the Attorney General was also present for the meeting. The members of the National Elections Commission had informed the President that there is no way to prevent the local government elections from taking place unless via constitutional or judicial action. The Election Commission official had informed the President of the future programs relating to the election. Views were expressed on the meeting between the President and the Election Commission.
The people are waiting for an election to send Ranil and the Rajapakshas home. What is Ranil Wickremesinghe doing by summoning the Election Commission? There are discussions to delay the election. There are talks that the expenses for the election will not be made available. The government is trying to say that they have no money. Ranil and the Rajapakshas are planning to delay the elections. Ranil Wickremesinghe, as the leader of the United National Party, meeting the Election Commission can be seen as political influence. Ranil is trying to make it his election commission. If Ranil is trying to play more games, if he is trying to politically influence the election commission, and if he is trying to tell the election commission to delay the election, that is a threat to the independence of the election commission. The influence on the independence of the election commission must stop.
The President has summoned the National Election Commission to the President's office, and this is not a legal move. On one hand, the United National Party says the President will not be involved in any election-related activity. On the other hand, the President is trying to use a private member's bill in a bid to delay the elections. Since that failed, the President summoned the National Election Commission to the President's office. That is illegal and immoral. The Election Commission has no right to act like this, especially during the time of an election. The independence of the Commission must be protected. They have met with the President, who is the leader of the party. Do not try these types of schemes and do not try to harm the independence of this election.
The Black Cap movement says that given the economic crisis in the country, the government should deploy state employees for election duty, considering it as a normal public service without any additional payment. In a statement, the Black Cap movement says that at a time when political parties, trade unions and other organizations are commenting in favor of an election, there would be no opposition towards such a process from the state sector employees. The Black Cap movement says there is no need to deploy a large number of state sector employees on election duty to release the results in one night. It adds that a large amount of money can be saved when the results are released across several days. The Black Cap movement also proposes to the National Elections Commission to prepare the necessary legal provisions to cut down on elections cost and campaign spending. National organizer of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Tisattanayaka, says that the SJB alliance will place bonds for all 340 local government bodies from Monday.
We will start placing the bonds on Monday. We hope to complete the nomination list first. We will submit nominations for all 340 local government bodies. We started preparing the nomination list for the Northern Province today. We will contest as the Samagi Jana Sandhanaya.
We hope to discuss with the UNP in the future. If we fail to reach an agreement, we will contest separately, and we hope to work together after the elections.
Will elections be held before the 10th of March 2023? 64 days more.
Moving on to more news making headlines tonight. A murder suspect was killed in police fire early on Friday morning in Hangwalla.
Crime Watch.
A team of police officers from the Western Province, South Range, were deployed to Hangwalla after sleuths received information that a suspect responsible for shooting dead a restaurant owner in Hangwalla on the 19th of December 2022 was reportedly hiding inside an abandoned house in the Kimbulapane area in Diddeniya, Hangwalla. Sri Lanka police said the suspect opened fire at the police officers when they raided the house. The suspect was injured in return fire and he was taken to the Avisavel hospital where he died upon admission. The deceased was identified as 32-year-old Rasindu Viduranga Fernando from Pitakanda, Ratnapura. Sri Lanka police said he was one of the suspects wanted for the killing of a businessman in Hangwalla last December. The deceased businessman was identified as 46-year-old Mohammed Farzan, a father of 3. Was this suspect the shooter who killed the businessman?
The Western Province South Range Crimes Bureau recently arrested a suspect for aiding and abetting in the crime. He was remanded after being produced in court. Investigations revealed that one of the suspects who was involved in the shooting was hiding. The hideout was raided by the Western Province South Range. He had then opened fire at the police using a shotgun. Police officers had returned fire. The suspect was injured and he died upon admission to the Avisabela hospital.
Sri Lanka police said the shotgun used by the suspect was also recovered.
Crime Watch.
In the meantime, social media activist Sepal Amarasinghe, who was arrested by the CID, was remanded to the 10th of January. He was produced to the Colombo Additional Magistrate Taranga Mahavatha on Friday.
Social media activist Sepal Amarasinghe was arrested by the CID for making defamatory comments regarding the sacred tooth relic, which led to controversy in Boralaskamu on Thursday. 2 police teams led by an assistant superintendent of police were deployed to arrest the suspect.
We need to determine why he made comments that are defamatory to Buddhism and the sacred tooth relic of Lord Buddha. In addition, offences were committed under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights Act. Further, he can be penalised under the Penal Code for the comments he made. The CID is currently investigating the matter.
If you and I lose our right to access to information, we lose our freedom completely. When that happens, it is those in power who gain the upper hand, as they can continue to do whatever they please by deceiving the people. The most prime responsibility of the media is to report the truth and not to work towards protecting the government or politicians. Exactly 14 years ago, this responsibility towards the people was dealt with a serious blow. Most of the youth may not even remember what happened. However, we remember, and we will never forget what happened. Today marks 14 years since a cowardly attack was carried out on the MTV-MBC studio premises in Depanama, dealing a severe blow to the people's right to information. And those who carried out this heinous attack are still roaming free.
On the 6th of January 2009, armed thugs broke into the MTV-MBC studio premises in Depanama and carried out a heinous attack that attracted worldwide condemnation. Even before the attack, law enforcement agencies were informed about suspicious activities and over the imminent threat. On the 6th of January at 2:10 a.m., a gang of armed thugs broke into the Sirasa studio complex. The professional assailants first attacked the security personnel at the studio complex, and their next target was the main television broadcast control room of the studio. The group, who destroyed all the equipment at the studio complex, escaped after rigging 2 Claymore bombs. During the government analysts' investigation after the attack, an 8-kilogram live Claymore explosive was found inside the main control room. Even when our equipment had been reduced to cinders, the limitless strength of our staff enabled us to get back on the airwaves within a short period. Within 48 hours of the attack on the Sirasa Studio complex, veteran journalist Lasantha Wickramatunge, who arrived at the location and condemned the attacks, was murdered in Attidia. The attack on the MTV-MBC studio premises in Depanama was condemned across the world, and it was seen as a disgusting effort to silence a media network that reveals the truth to the people. Those who planned this attack, as well as those who carried out the crime, are still roaming free. Though they're out, according to their own conscience, they are guilty. Though they feel safe, they should know that they cannot escape responsibility for their crimes. We will continue to stand by the people, today, tomorrow, and forever. That is a well-established fact. The people will continue to remain with us in the years to come. We report, you decide.
A shipment of 60,000 metric tons of coal reached the Norachole jetty in Putlam on Friday.
The chairman of Lanka Coal Company Private Limited, Srihan Sumanasekara, told Newsfirst that the shipment of 60,000 metric tons of coal reached Sri Lanka from Mozambique. The unloading of the coal commenced after the vessel docked at the jetty. The chairman of Lanka Coal Company Private Limited, Srihan Sumanasekara, said that 6 coal shipments are expected to reach Sri Lanka in January 2023. The Ceylon Electricity Board said that the generator at the Norachole coal power plant, which was shut down last December 2022, citing early maintenance, will be reactivated from Sunday the 8th.
The program to collect 6.9 million public signatures against the proposed electricity tariff hike took place in Pillava Boralasgamuwa for the 6th day. It is organized by the Electricity Users Association.
මිනිස්සු මහ ජනතාව අන්තස්සරණ වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ ලයිට් බිල වැඩි කරන එකට අපි සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම විරුද්ධයි. මේ ආණ්ඩුව ඇත්තටම පෙරලන්න ඕන.
අමාරුයි ජනතාවට. ඒ අසරණ අයට තමයි ඔක්කොම.
ආගමික සිද්ධාස්ථාන වලට දැඩිසේ මේක බලපාලා තියෙනවා විශේෂ.
This has affected places of worship a lot. Minister Kanchana said that solar panels will be given to 40,000 places of worship, but not one has received a single solar panel. If we divide the number with the number of days in the year, 111 places must get it. He does not even have a process for that. We are disappointed about Minister Kanchana. This temple has another till to collect money for the electricity tariff. People will no longer be able to offer money to the temple because their offerings will be for the electricity tariff. How will we be able to uplift the places of worship like this?
සල්ලි දාන්න වෙන්නේ මේ විදුලි බිල සඳහා. ඒතකොට මේ විහාරස්ථාන කොහොමද ගොඩනගන්නේ?
Today is the Durtu Full Moon Poya Day, and the significance of the Durtu Full Moon Poya Day is that it marks the Gautama Buddha's first visit to Sri Lanka.
According to the ancient chronicles, the significance of Durtu Full Moon Poya Day is that it marks Gautama Buddha's first visit to Sri Lanka. It was on a day like today, 9 months after the Enlightenment, that Gautama Buddha set foot on Sri Lanka for the first time to solve a confrontation between the Yaksha and Naga tribes. It is also said that upon the request of god Sumana Saman, the Buddha offered his hair relics or Kesha Dhatu to the god, and those relics are enshrined in the Mahiyangana Stupa. Multiple religious events took place across the country, giving prominence to the Amisa and Pratipatti Puja. A special Buddha Puja organized by Newsfirst was held at the Shakya Malake opposite the head office of the Capital Maharaja Group on Friday morning.
We followed these religious observances opposite the Shakya Malake today, hoping that these blessings will help the innocent people of this country who are facing severe hardships.
විශේෂයෙන්ම රෝගාබාධ වලින් විනුර්මුක්තව ජීවත් වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය පරිසරය සැකසෙන්න කියලා.
The 24th Dhamma Sermon Program under the Sirisadaham Seta Dhamma Sermon Program, organized by the Office of the Opposition Leader on every Poya Day, took place on Friday. The sermon was delivered by Venerable Dr. Omalpe Sobitha-Thero.
There are no realists in this country. We need to be sad about it. Today the people are lying as if it's nothing. They steal the same way. Why did our country fall into such a level? Most politicians assume that they cannot secure power without lying. Therefore, even when there is an election, the one who lies the most wins. After they win, they say that is how they say things and this is how they do things. The main reason for this is failed leadership. The people who sleep while they are expected to work, who remain silent without voicing their concerns, and allow those who steal to commit theft are as responsible as those who bring harm to the country. If there is something wrong with the king, it affects everyone below. If those who are supposed to give proper advice to the ruler remain silent, that brings harm to the country. It is a responsibility of the opposition to understand this.
The Alut Sahal festival at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, organized on every Durutu full moon Poya, took place on Friday morning. The event took place under the auspices of the monks in charge of the rituals at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic and Diyavarna Nilame, Pradeep Nilangadayala.
A community kitchen program based at the historic Hunupitiya Gangaramaya temple took place on Friday as well. The program was launched on the 1st of January, and under the first phase, 800 people belonging to 5 separate regions in Slave Island will be provided with free meals for a period of 14 days. This program is being implemented targeting 2,300 people living in those areas, especially the malnourished children below the age of 5, expectant mothers, breastfeeding mothers, people suffering from non-communicable diseases, physically challenged individuals, and those earning a low income. The program will provide free nutritious meals to all of them daily. In addition, multiple welfare projects are in place, including providing professional education to children from selected families. Almost every single Sri Lankan is facing a plethora of issues due to the economic crisis in the country. Yet, Gammadda managed to become a pillar of strength to one family today, thanks to the kind-hearted Sri Lankans who understand the pain of their fellow citizens.
Shriyani is a single mother with 2 children living in one of the most remote areas in Sigiriya. She lost her husband just over a year ago, and since then, things have been really tough for this family. With no support whatsoever, this small family managed to survive inside a stick and clay abode, and their plight was highlighted by Newsfirst. From that moment onwards, many Sri Lankans stepped forward to support Shriyani and her 2 children. On Friday morning, the new home for Shriyani and her 2 children, built with the support of Ishani Merceline from California, USA, was handed over to them at the auspicious time to give them a new beginning at life. Ishani Merceline joined with Gammadda in this cause in memory of her parents Pushpa Veerasekara and Anton Veerasekara. Chief incumbent of the Moragada Mukalana Sri Sugata Abhinavarama, Venerable Koskahinne Jinananda Thero, Chief incumbent of the historic Sigiriya Temple, Dambula Divisional Secretary P.R. Jayasuriya, Chief Inspector Upali Kobbe Kadua from the Sigiriya Police Station, Sigiriya Mailattava Gramaladari, H.M. Nuwan Herath, Gammadda National Organizer Kenneth Veerakodi, as well as teachers and students from the Dimuthu Child Care Centre were present for the opening. The staff and chief engineer of the Dambulla Water Supply and Drainage Board, as well as the staff of the Dambulla Electricity Board, also receive a special mention for their tremendous support to complete this project in a successful manner. Today, Shriyani and her children have a permanent roof over their head and a place to call home because of you who join hands with Gammadda.
News First, with the people.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa has said, for the first time in history, an opposition is working for the country with a system change. He was speaking at an event in Moravaka on Thursday.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa donated the 64th school bus under the Sakvala program to the Kirti   Abey                                                                                                                                                Sakvala program to the Kirti   Abey
The alternatives are for a common cause. We need dollars for the country. The people must decide as to who is capable of bringing in dollars to the country. I am pleased to tell you that no other opposition in the 74-year-old democratic political history of this country has done any work like this. Everyone calls for system change. The 64th school bus is for the Moravaka National School. Here is the system change. For the first time in history, the opposition is doing the work.
LAFSGAS announced that it has reduced the prices of its domestic gas cylinders after Litro reduced their prices.
According to the price revision, the new price of a 12.5 kilogram LAFS gas cylinder in the Colombo district will be 5,080 rupees. The new price of a 5 kilogram gas cylinder will be 2,032 rupees.
Sri Lanka will restart negotiations on trade pacts with India, China and Thailand after a 4-year hiatus as the crisis-hit country races to seal deals to help it rebuild the economy. KJ Veerasinghe, Sri Lanka's chief negotiator of free trade agreements, told Reuters that officials from Thailand are scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka on Monday to start the third round of talks after negotiations were suspended in 2018.
Negotiations with India and China, Sri Lanka's biggest trading partners accounting for about $5 billion each in bilateral trade in 2021, are expected to begin in February and March. Oraman Suptawithum, Director General of Thailand's Department of Trade Negotiations, said talks had been delayed because of Sri Lanka's economic crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic. Bilateral trade between Thailand and Sri Lanka totaled around $460 million in 2021. According to Sri Lanka's central bank data. Sri Lanka is aiming to deepen an existing FTA with its northern neighbour India into an economic and technology agreement after talks stalled in 2018. It is looking to add services and investment to the current agreement that primarily covers trade in goods. FTA discussions with China, the island's largest bilateral lender, also stalled in 2018 over disagreements about the pace of liberalizing of Sri Lanka's economy. Sri Lanka's economy is projected to have contracted by 8.7% in 2022, but a recovery is expected in the second half of 2023. The country signed a preliminary agreement for a $2.9 billion bailout package with the International Monetary Fund last September, but has to put its debt on track before disbursements can begin.
Well, given the present state of foreign exchange situation in Sri Lanka, if we can get even $1 from a foreign country, that is to the advantage of the country. So therefore, if we sign an agreement, it will in fact increase the trade opportunities for Sri Lanka, both imports and export. But unfortunately, what would happen is instead of exporting to Thailand, we might be importing more technically and electric goods from Thailand, and therefore there will be a bigger trade deficit with Thailand, and therefore it will not be an advantage for Sri Lanka right now. What Sri Lanka should do is right now not to go for a mere trade agreement with Thailand. Instead, Sri Lanka should go for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with Thailand.
According to the World Food Programme's Household Food Security Survey in November 2022, 37% of households in Sri Lanka are food insecure. The World Food Programme's latest report issued earlier this week notes that Sri Lankan households continue to apply food-based and livelihood-based coping strategies such as skipping meals, limiting portion sizes and borrowing money to put food on the table. WFP's November Market Functionality Index reveals that prices of commodities continue to be volatile. Since the start of the emergency response, WFP has so far reached 227,952 people with in-kind food assistance in areas of high food insecurity such as Ampara, Batiklo, Matale, Mulathiv, Norelia and Vaunia districts. WFP said it provided rice as part of school meals for 1,050,714 school children across 7,593 schools. WFP has achieved its plan to support 1 million children with school meals and will continue its support to school children. To date, WFP has received $43.7 million from Australia, France, Italy, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Switzerland and the United States, as well as the UN Central Emergency
Emergency Response Fund, private sector partners and multilateral donors. This represents over 2/3 of its emergency appeal for $63 million.
In the meantime, the human-elephant conflict in Sri Lanka is a perennial issue that has gone unresolved.
Instead of having a peaceful sleep after a tiresome day in their fields, the farmers of Valsapugala Hambantota are spending their night outside in their fields to protect their crops from the wild elephants that encroach their villagers under the cover of darkness.
We are facing these hardships to protect our families and to help our country to recover from the economic crisis. The government is not doing anything from their side to declare the proposed elephant management reserve. Instead of supporting this idea, they are doing everything to destroy this zone. They are cutting down the trees in this zone day by day. Because of this, the elephants tend to move out from this zone and they encroach the villagers in the night. Instead of providing a sustainable solution, they are chasing these elephants from one village to the other. The elephants have made these small other state reserve forests as their habitats today. The only sustainable solution to this human-elephant conflict is to gazette this elephant management reserve and to allow these elephants to roam free in this area. Also, you need to clear all elephant passes and let them roam free. But sadly, nothing in this regard is happening today.
Though these farmers engage in a satyagraha for 105 days in 2021, demanding for the proposed wild elephant management reserve to be gazetted, no solution was given to their demand. On the 30th of last month, another innocent villager from Valiara in Suryawava Hambantota lost his life due to the human-elephant conflict. Newsfirst correspondents reported that when considering the Hambantota and Suryawava divisional secretariats alone, 12 people have died from wild elephant attacks, while 8 elephants too lost their lives for various reasons. The human-elephant conflict is costing the country 2 valuable assets, but still, the responsible authorities have failed to address this issue.
In the meantime, multiple cultivations across several harvesting seasons failed due to the ad hoc decisions taken by the rulers of the country. This led to the farmers facing serious economic issues, and some of them do not even receive the seeds, fertilizer as well as agrochemicals on time. As a result, the country's maize cultivation is threatened by the Sena caterpillar infestation.
Farmers from Galporuyaya in Girandurukote, located in Mahiyangane, commenced cultivating maize just over a month ago.
Look at what has happened. There is no growth for this plant. This is what we found. Let's say we manage to save these plants now. When the season comes, the caterpillar creeps into the corn.
Farmers also explained how the maize shortage has had an impact on the egg production in the country.
The government and the ministers are aware of what is happening and that proper treatment is required. When there's a maize shortage, that leads to a shortage of animal feed. When these animal feed are imported, the prices of eggs will skyrocket. If the proper material is given to the farmer, there won't be an issue. It is painful to even speak of this tragedy. The farmers have been battered a lot.
The people of Yatinura in Kandy had come together to fix the road in their village after officials failed to provide a solution.
This is the road leading from Caterpillar in the Yatinura Divisional Secretariat. Steps were taken to renovate a section of 2.5 kilometers of the road several months ago with an estimate of 30 million rupees. Villagers thought that the road will be laid with a carpet. However, in the end, the authorities only placed the gravel. Due to heavy showers experienced in the country in recent days, the road was washed away. Although politicians were informed of the issue, they failed to provide solutions. The villagers finally decided to fix the problem on their own. The people are asking how they can trust public representatives when they are avoiding people's issues after being elected to solve the people's issues.
A protest took place in Nugegod on Friday evening against the rising cost of living and the arbitrary decisions of the government.
Activists who joined these protests blame the government for failing to address the social issues in the country. Protesters also demanded the immediate release of the Inter-University Students' Federation convener Vasantha Mudalige and to repeal the controversial Prevention of Terrorism Act.
Taking a look at some international developments, WhatsApp has introduced a new feature to help people circumvent government-imposed internet shutdowns.
WhatsApp statement said it was launching a proxy support for WhatsApp users all over the world. It means WhatsApp is putting the power into people's hand to maintain access to WhatsApp if their connection is blocked or disrupted. WhatsApp's new proxy support feature enables users to connect to WhatsApp through servers set up by volunteers and organizations around the world dedicated to helping people communicate freely. It also allows users to set up their own proxy servers to help others connect to the app. The feature is currently available to all users running the most updated version of the app. According to WhatsApp, users in regions impacted by shutdowns can expect the same level of privacy and security when communicating through the app after connecting by a proxy server that users expect from WhatsApp.
And that's a wrap of your news for tonight. For the Newsfirst team and Mariam Ganevijaya, good night and take care.